Odds are, by clicking on this video, you guys are probably in a state of worry right now and you guys are looking for something to fix that. Let me tell you, I've had my fair share of worrying this year. It's just like a constant state of mind and I'm honestly so sick of it. I want to share with you guys some ways that I cope with over worrying and overthinking and just having my mind almost like an autopilot in a really bad way. This isn't going to be like go to therapy, even though I think that's a good thing, but they're just more short term, not so much tips and tricks that you can implement over time to decrease the state of worry. No, I want things that will help me stop right now. These things help me, so I hope maybe one of you guys can utilize one of these tips and just quiet your mind for a little bit. The first thing that I always do is think worst case scenario. Odds are it's not gonna happen. For example, if you're going through like a breakup or something and you're like, oh my god, like I'm never gonna meet anyone again, I'm just gonna be alone, I'm gonna die alone, the odds of that actually happening are slim to none. If you really think about it, how many people are in this world? How many different ways can you meet different people? The idea that you're gonna be alone forever is not a valid reasoning as to why you should be in a state of worry. When you play that worst possible scenario, how can you handle it? If that were to have happen, how are you going to handle it? People have handled those issues before. You're not like this unique person going through this unique experience. Even though it must feel like it, there are so many people who have probably dealt with the same situation as you and have overcome it and have dealt with it. That's a really calming state of mind. And when I think worst possible case scenario, I'm like, my mind is literally making things up that have not happened. Like I said, the odds of that actually happening are very, very slim. When our mind is in that state of worry, we think, oh, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. But if you think about it, it doesn't stop there. Like, why do we stop it there? It's like, oh, if this happens, I'm gonna lose my job and I'm never gonna find another job ever again. No, like, okay, you might lose your job, yeah, but then what happens after that? You're gonna have to look for another job, you might find a different field of work, you're going to find another job eventually. Like, there's more to the story that our minds like just falter on the like worst part, which is like so stressing. Keep the story going. There's more to the story than just the bad part. So instead of worrying and putting all of our energy on the bad thing, get excited for what can happen from that. Yes, bad things happen, but there's a lot of overcoming that is dealt with post bad thing. The second thing that I do is stay busy. Now I know a lot of people are probably like, oh my god, no, that's just like pushing your anxiety to the side. But sometimes we need to do that. Sometimes worrying is just so detrimental to our state of mind. It takes us away from the present moment. It takes our joy, and it literally is the worst feeling ever, just sitting there and like thinking and thinking and thinking. And so sometimes, yes, I do want to take a break from that fear. I just want a break. And for me, staying busy will get me in the moment away from that state of mind that is so bad for me. My sense of worrying is when my mind is free to do nothing. Like when I'm not really doing much, that's when I just think and think and think and think. What helps you get into like a flow state? What is something that you do that really you just kind of like lose track of time? For me, that's work. Some people that's working out, some people that's watching a movie. Like find your flow where like you can literally escape for a minute to just take a break from your mind. There's probably nothing you can do right now in the moment to get rid of that fear and that overthinking, because if there was, you would do it, and you're not doing it. Instead, you're just thinking about it. Because there's something you can do right now to resolve the issue. It's most likely in the past or in the future. Find something that you can do right now that will just take your mind at ease and get away from it for a second. I had read a quote that said worrying is like taking an umbrella outside and just walking around waiting for it to rain. Like, it's not happening. So like, why are we sitting there thinking about it? Like, why don't we just enjoy the sunlight for a minute, you know? Like, put the umbrella away, go distract your mind. If it rains, it rains. But right now it's not happening, so just do something to get your mind off of it. Number 3 is to make a move. Like I just said, odds are there's nothing you can do right now in the moment to fix it, but sometimes there is, and we all know it. We all know that sometimes we overthink because of a decision we're trying to make, and we know what we want to do, we know what we're going to do, but we just like halter our decision making because of the anxiety of the like repercussions of that decision. It's like you're either going to stay here for the long term and have this feeling for longer than you need to, or just make the decision, take the band-aid off, rip the band-aid off, whatever that quote is, and just make the freaking move. Worrying does not stop that bad thing from happening. It stops you from enjoying the good that's happening around you. A lot of us know that if we just do the one thing that we're worried about doing, it will all go away and you'll just make the move. And like I said, odds are the worst possible case scenario is not going to happen, or if it does happen, there's more to the story. Focus on what you can get from it rather than like the scary big part of like the actual decision making. The fourth thing that I have is to let it out. A lot of the times we're solo in this, guys. It's just you and your brain and your thoughts, and it is extremely overwhelming. It's heavy, it's annoying, it's frustrating, and it's all happening internally. I say let that shit out, because I have never let something out before and like instantly felt worse. I've always felt a sense of like lightness. I gained like some sort of new perspective. I even sometimes realize that, okay, it's not as big of a deal as like I'm thinking about. It's actually quite manageable. If you do not have someone that you can trust to let your feelings out, write it out, like journal it yourself. Literally journal out what you think is gonna happen, what your fears are, journal out pros and cons, like literally just like brain dump everything that's going on in here onto a piece of paper, set it aside and just breathe. Because sometimes when we say it, it is so much more different than like hearing it inside, because our brains can like just go on autopilot, like I said, and it's just like this and this and this and this. It's like a spider web. Whereas when we write it out, we're like, oh my God, this is like in real time and like real life, and it's not as insane as like it sounds like it. And it's just because we're holding it all. Number 5 is something that you guys don't want to hear, but you know that it's true. And that is that there is a process to this pain. There's like a waiting season when we have to go through a certain thing because we need to heal from something. Oftentimes when we're worrying or we're stressing, it's like our gut instinct pushing us to do something or make a decision or overcome a fear because there's something in us that needs to be healed. When you're overthinking about it, it is a big thing in your life. It means a lot to us. It impacts us a lot, and it's important. Listen to that. Be honest with yourself. Think about, why is this affecting me so much? Like, what needs to be healed? And then the last and final thing is like the easiest thing that you can do ever, and I know people say this all the time, but it's because it works and it's so easy, and that's to count your blessings. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. When you're worrying or stressing about a problem, you're literally worshiping that problem. That's at the forefront of your mind. You're putting the most energy towards that, and that's what you're seeing, that's what you're feeling. Like, if you switch that, do a quick little reverse psychology on yourself, start worshiping the things that you do have. Worship the little happy things that happen throughout your day, and it really helps you realize, like, I can handle this. I have good things around. It's not just this thing, which can be what it feels like all the time when you're constantly worrying. Trust me, I understand and I get it. But when you look around and just like put that to the side for a second, you realize like there's so much more good that has happened and that is around me right now, that I know that even though this thing is a really big important thing and it's stressing me out and all this stuff, it's like I have other things around me that is so good. This is a huge thing, I understand. And I know that like your worrying is valid, but look around at the other things in your life that you do have. I'm telling you, like, it just changes your mindset so quickly. I really, really hope that one of these things worked for you guys. If they did, let me know. Or if you guys have any other tips on how to handle worrying for people, let me know down below. I promise that you're gonna get over it, okay? I know we're all going through stuff. Once this worry is done, odds are there's gonna be another worry. Like, this is just life. Sometimes you really just have to deal with it, take it head on and overcome it. And every time that you overcome it, it's gonna be easier and easier to overcome other worries. And you can look in your past and like realize, oh my God, like last year I was worrying about X, Y, and Z, and now I've like overcome that and my whole life is like totally shifted and I have a whole different worry. And it's just gonna be like your resume of all the things that you've conquered in your life. And I promise you guys, it's gonna heal. I've just been really trying to implement these things into my life, and it really has helped me kind of just be more present and quiet my internal dialogue, if you will. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I love you guys so much. See you soon.
My stomach hurts, man. Filling me up with all this negative energy and shit. Like, I don't even know. What's the point? Like, I don't even... You just make me feel like shit sometimes. I think you should start to know that, because as soon as you do, you can start to accept that you're the piece of shit. No, fuck you.
Yeah, running, got me gunning. Old school cat, got me stunning. Funny how the rest gon' come in. Funny how you back for the loving I've been. I got one too many tricks up my sleeve. I must need overdose of empathy. My pops and me. More screenshots.